Welcome back to PowerShell Breakdown. The script that I'm showing in this video disables inactive or stale computers in Active Directory. To be more specific, it disables all of the computers in an organizational unit that have not had any users log on to them in the past 45 days. I'm using computers in this script, but everything shown is applicable for user accounts as well. I'll start by typing the three main steps of the script to map out the logical process the script will follow. The steps will be typed in the form of comments by using the number sign. First, I'll define the inactive time period, which will be 45 days. Second, I'll search for the accounts in the computers OU that are inactive past the defined time period. And third, I'll disable the accounts. To define the inactive time span, I'll create a time span object of 45 days to use in step 2 with the Search-ADAccount command. To create a time span object, the command to use is New-Timespan. I need to let PowerShell know that I want 45 days and not 45 hours or 45 seconds. I then press space and then type a dash. I'll use the -days parameter to specify 45 days. These options are called parameters, and it's used to narrow the scope or help specify the task that I'm telling PowerShell to do, and they'll always start with a dash. Now I'll run the command and see that the object is 45 days. There are other ways to create a timespan object, but I prefer the New-Timespan command because it's easiest to read and understand for those who are not familiar with using timespans in PowerShell. I'll next store the timespan in a variable to use in later steps. Variables are a way to store things like text, numbers, or PowerShell objects in the computer's memory that can then be recalled later. The variables are created by typing a $sign followed by the variable name. They can be in uppercase, lowercase, or any combination of cases. Variables are given value by typing the variable name, an equal sign, and then the value. So I've now finished the first step in the script. Next, I need to search for the accounts that are inactive using the Search-ADAccount command. This command has been used in a previous video to search for locked out accounts, but this time I want to search for inactive accounts. I'll use the account inactive parameter to let the command know what I want to search for. And this parameter finds the accounts that are inactive based on the last logon date PowerShell property, also known as the last logon timestamp attribute found in the attribute editor in ADUC. While the attribute that is shown here will likely not be up to date, it's good enough for my use in this script. If you'd like to know a way to get more accurate results, check out the write-up on GitHub, linked in the description. When the account inactive parameter is used, we need an additional parameter to specify either a date or timespan in which to determine the accounts to be inactive. The first option is date time. This means that everything before a given date is determined to be inactive. If this option is used, I would have to calculate a date that is 45 days in the past from the date when the script is run. The second option is timespan. And this means that everything prior to the time span of 45 days is deemed inactive. The advantage of this option is that no date calculation is needed. In this Active Directory environment, computer and user accounts are kept in separate OUs. If the OU contains both computer and user accounts, add the computers only parameter to only search for computers. I can further narrow my search by adding -search space followed by the distinguished name of the OU. The distinguished name is found in ADUC by right-clicking on the OU, selecting Properties, and viewing the Attribute Editor tab. Double-click on the attribute and copy the name to the clipboard. Paste it into the script and add quotes around it to make it a text string. I then assign this command and its parameters to the inactive computers variable to complete the second step. Next, I'll use the Disable-ADAccount command to disable the computer account. To use a command by itself, I would use Disable-ADAccount, -identity, and the computer. I can identify the computer by one of these attributes, found in ADUC in the attribute editor. Note that by default, computer's SAM account names end with a $, which is different from user accounts. The identity parameter does not normally accept multiple identities, as seen here in the Microsoft documentation, but it can by using the pipeline. The pipeline is represented by the pipe symbol, and it's how we can take the output of one command from the left side of the pipe and use it as input of another command on the right. Since the identity parameter can receive input from the pipeline, it can disable multiple computers at once by piping the computer objects returned from Search-ADAccount. The pass-through parameter is not necessary, but I like to use it because it shows which computers are being disabled. And if I want, I can also add something like pipe export-CSV to export the disabled computers to an Excel readable file. That completes step 3. Let's review the final script. So first, we created a time span of 45 days and assigned that value to the day's inactive variable. Next, we search for all inactive AD accounts within the 45 days time span, and we're looking in the computer's OU. So that result is then assigned to the inactive computers variable, which is finally piped into the Disable-ADAccount command, and with the pass-through parameter, we can see which computers were disabled. Verify the results in ADUC and scan the PowerShell console for any errors that could indicate any mistakes that you might have made. This is the end of part 1. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something. As always, the script is shown and the write-up will be uploaded to my GitHub, which is linked in the description.